Hey guys, so this is going to be the Christmas spider ornament tutorial. It's my second time filming it because the pieces are so small. It's been really hard to uh, find, be able to focus my camera enough so that you can actually see what I'm doing instead of it all being a big blur. Um, so this is what we'll be making. I haven't put the hanger on these, but they hang from the butt. And I've made a little one, and it's just kind of a prototype. I need to, this one was much more difficult for me to make as far as attaching the legs went. Um, and I'm going to try a couple different bead sequences on some more little spiderlings and see which one I like best, see if I can get a better technique down for getting the legs on there. And then if I come up with something that I'm really happy with, then I'll go ahead and do a little spiderling tutorial, which would be very similar to this Christmas spider tutorial. Okay, so the supplies that you will need for these bigger Christmas spiders is you will need 2 bead caps, and you just want to find bead caps that will fit your body bead the best, you know, whichever hugs it the best. And what I've discovered is that I like the really thin filigree style bead caps a lot better than, say, these solid ones or thicker ones. Thicker bead caps don't look right. It doesn't look like it's a part of the spider's body. It just looks like you've stuck something on the spider's butt. My mother came through for me as far as bead caps and pins went. I was like, Mom, don't you have anything that's not gold plated? She's like, nope. I think she's just at a stage in her crafting career, or her jewelry making career, that she doesn't have any cheap supplies anymore. So, okay, so 2 bead caps. You'll need a head pin, which, ew, I know it's not going to focus, but, oh, it did focus. Oh my goodness. Okay, so you see how, oh no, I unfocused it. It looks like a little nail head. You don't want the eye pins, which are the pins that have the little loop on the end, because you're going to be making, you don't want a loop on the head. You just want a loop on the butt. Okay. So you will need 24 gauge wire. And you want to cut 4 pieces of wire that are 8 inches long. You will need a body bead. This is a 1-inch body bead, and this, I don't know what size that one is. The one I'll be using for the tutorial is about a 1/2 inch. See the size difference? I wouldn't go any smaller than this 1/2 inch as far as these larger Christmas spiders go. Otherwise the legs are gonna look way too long. You're gonna need a head bead. This one's probably around 5 millimeters, or wait, is it millimeters? Yep, 5 millimeters. You're gonna need 8 beads to use as the knee joints. And these are those purple beads, those are the knee joints. You will need bugle beads. They look like little cylinders. You'll need seed beads. Oopsie. Where did my thing? Oh, there it is, right in front of my face. These are seed beads. Okay, one thing I wanted to point out in case anybody didn't know, there's a difference between seed beads and e-beads. These are e-beads. These are seed beads. I've seen a lot of people use e-beads on these, but in my opinion, they're way too bulky. It kind of, unless you're going for a tarantula effect, maybe you want to make a Christmas tarantula, I do not recommend these. I may try and make myself a tarantula one of these days. Okay, so you'll need seed beads, bugle beads. You will need a pair of wire cutters to cut said wire. You will need a pair of, I want to say these are needle nose. They could be round nose. They could be both. Is there two names for the same pair of pliers? Anyways, just get the pair that are completely round all the way around. These would be flat nose, right? You do not need flat nose. You just need needle nose wire cutters. You will need a ruler to measure out your wire, and you may or may not need E6000. In some cases, and I've made a few spiders, occasionally you don't get the legs tight enough and they really wiggle and wobble. So if this happens, you're going to want it at the end when you finish your spider, you're going to want to take a toothpick. Don't touch the E6000 because it has cancerous properties in it. You want to take a toothpick and spread some on, get it to seep down into the beads and the wire as much as you can, and just leave it for a couple hours till it dries. You don't want to use super glue because it dries white. You don't want to use any PVA glues because they're not sturdy. Don't use hot glue. Use E6000 or a similar glue. And I believe that would be it. I will leave the materials list in the description bar as well. Okay, so the first thing that you want to do is you want to cut your wire into the 4 8-inch lengths and just set those aside. And next, you want to grab your head pin. I can grab it here. I'm probably going to wheel my camera in a little bit, so you guys can probably see it. Okay, you want to start with the head bead. And you just want to slide it on like that. Next, you want to grab one of your bead caps. I see that. I think I need to wheel it down a little bit. Sorry guys. It's just so much more difficult working with such small things and trying to do a tutorial. Okay, so you've got your bead cap. And you see the curve on it? You want the outside of the curve to be against... I didn't even get it in the hole. I'm looking through my camera to make sure I'm in frame, but then I can't see what I'm doing. Okay, so you want to get it so the outside of the curve of the bead cap is against your head bead. Then you want to put on your body bead. And then you want to take your other bead cap and put it on so that it's flush against. Come on, Chelsea. I usually rest my arms when I'm working with beads. I always rest my arms against my fat stomach to stabilize my hands because they're so shaky. Okay, so I've seen a lot of people put on the legs before they put on the body bead, and there's a way to do that with your pliers, but I just wasn't happy with the technique. The loop and the wire ended up being way too bulky, so I've found a way that I like to do it best. Okay, so you want to take your finger and hold the pin like this, and you want to get enough length in between the head and that first bead cap. I want to say a little bit less than 1/8 of an inch. And once you get that measurement, want to kind of hold it in place so you don't lose that length there. And then you want to take your wire cutters and you want to cut off the excess pin, and you want like 1/4 of an inch left. Okay, once you've got that 1/4 of an inch, you can go ahead and let go. Now you want to take your needle nose pliers, and hopefully you'll be able to see this okay. And you just want to turn the pliers, let go. When you've got that 90-degree angle, you want to let go with the pliers and then adjust your wrist, grab it again, and twist it until you've got that loop. Guess I didn't get quite 1/4 of an inch on the butt. Guess I didn't leave quite 1/4 of an inch. Oops, sorry guys. Okay, so you've got the loop at the end. This is where your spider's going to hang. Okay, so this is very loose on the pin because you left that gap in between the first bead cap and the head. So can you see the pin there in between the bead cap and the head? Okay. So next you want to grab your 4 pieces of 24 gauge wire that you've cut to 8 inches long. And you just want to find about the center point to them all. It's okay if your wires aren't exact, you know, if they're not exactly 8 inches, because you're going to have about 1 inch of excess wire to cut off at the end anyway. So don't worry about lining them up perfectly or cutting them to exactly 8 inches. So I'm going to wheel my camera up a little bit because this isn't really small details. You guys won't be able to see the what I'm doing with the camera so close. So I'm sorry I have to keep wheeling it, but if I zoom in, then it's really blurry. Or if I zoom, you know, if I have it up higher and I zoom in so that you can see detail, then my camera makes it really blurry. So I'll just have to keep adjusting. Okay, so once you've found the general center point of the wires, you just want to go ahead and fold them in half. Like so. You can pull it apart a little bit. Next you want to grab your body that you just made, and you want to slip the 4 bent wires over your body, and you want those 4 bent wires to come in between your head and the first bead cap. Is that gonna focus? Hopefully you guys can see that. I can't really see it from when I look through the camera, but okay, next you want to grab your 2 sides of the wire, and you really want to try and get this on the first time because it's really hard to unbend wire if you have to redo it. So you just want to grab both sides with your pointer and your thumb, and you just want to twist it as close to the body as you can. And I usually give it about 3 twists. Now I've seen on a lot of tutorials, you know, they will take the wire, they'll bend it in half, and they will make that twisted loop with their needle nose pliers. I did that and I didn't like it at all because the loop was always too big. You know, when you have when you twist it with your pliers to have the loop on its own, and then you'd slide it over the head pin, if I'm making any sense, before you put on the body. That loop that you had made with the needle nose was always way too big. And it's really hard to make the loop not bulky and make it so it'll fit right. Okay, one tip that I should have pointed out, if you're using a body bead that has a really big hole in it, that's okay. Or if you're using a body bead or a head bead that has a really big hole, you can still use those. They'll work just fine. But when you're sliding the body bead on, you want to stick some bugle beads or whatever beads you can find that'll fit the snuggest inside the big hole bead the best. You want to shove those in before you do your loop at the end. And that'll make it so the bead is tighter on the pin and doesn't wiggle around a lot. So that's just a tip I wanted to share with you that I forgot to share when I was actually putting together the body. Okay. So now that you have your legs attached to the body, I'm going to go ahead and wheel this in again. Sorry. But this part's really tiny. Okay, go ahead and take one side of your legs and separate them. And it helps to turn it over and just try and let the wires decide which direction they want to go in. You know, some wires just want to be in the front, some wires want to be in the back, and some wires want to be in the middle. So just try and see which way your wires want to go, and just go with that direction. It makes life a lot easier. It makes things look nicer. So once you have one side of the wires separated, then you want to go ahead and stick on your seed and bugle beads and your knee joint beads. These are the knee joint beads that I will be using. Some little crystals. They're bigger than E-beads. That's what I would recommend as the knee joint beads for the large Christmas spiders, is finding a bead that's a little bit bigger than a knee bead, or than a E-bead. I can't even talk today. When can I talk? I can't ever talk. Okay, and this is the sequence. Up here I've kind of made a little chart that I've found that I like best. You can experiment and find what you like best, but I usually like to do 2 seed, 1 bugle, 2 seed, 1 bugle, 2 seed, the knee joint bead, and then it repeated that pattern, this 2 seed, 1 bugle, 2 seed, 1 bugle, 2 seed. So that's one leg of the spider, and that's just the pattern that I found that I liked. I've alternated colors on a couple of them where I've done like purple. These 2 seed beads would be purple, these 2 seed beads would be pink, and then like a gold bugle bead in between. So just use what you have and do a pattern that you like best. So following that sequence, I'm going to add two seed bead, bugle, and I'd watch out for your bugles too, because sometimes the bugles can be really odd sized, where you'll have mostly 1/4 inch size bugles, and then you'll end up with a 1/2 inch thrown in there. So just make sure you don't grab one that's really off-sized compared to the rest of them that you're sticking on. Same can go with seed beads too, because seed beads and bugle beads aren't made to be identical unless you're buying the really expensive, like, Japanese kind. I don't remember what they're called. Oh goodness, I went out of sequence. Oh, I guess this isn't the right sequence, is it? Okay. Uno momento. Oh my goodness, I'm just really messing up. I guess I threw myself off when I made this little spiderling. And then I did the sequence right after that. It's 3 bugle beads on each side of the knee joint. 4 pairs of seed beads on each side of the knee joint. That would be your sequence. Sorry, guys. I hope you guys can see somewhat decently. But I know my hand is making a shadow here. I usually do this faster, but it's really hard when I can't rest my hands against my fat stomach. Okay, so after you get those, see if it'll focus, that sequence, then you want to slide on your knee bead here. And then you want to follow this sequence again over here. So start with 2 seed beads. One bugle. 2 seed beads. One bugle. 2 seed beads. Shaky hands, sorry guys. One bugle. And then 2 seed beads. Nope. Flick that one. Come on, fingers. Okay, so once you have the completed sequence here, then you want to take your legs, or take all the beads, and slide them as close to the body as you can get them. And then you want to kind of hold your take your thumb and pointer finger, hold the end of your bead sequence as tight as you can to the body, and then cut off a 1/4 inch. Cut off the wire so that you have a 1/4 inch left at the end. And you can measure it if you want to, but after you've done it a couple times, you just kind of know what the right length is. And then you want, while still holding it, then you want to make a loop. It doesn't matter which direction you make the loop because the spiders are going to be hanging. And you really want to make sure you get a tight loop at the end of these legs, because the last thing you want is for your seed beads. I'm trying to do this far away from me, so I did not do a very good loop. Come on, Chels. One sec. Sorry, guys. Sorry. Can't do anything without keeping my hands steady, apparently. Okay, sorry about that. I had to move it closer to my face and keep my arm steady. So, you'll have that first leg, and you got the loop on there. Like I said, you really want to make sure that's a tight loop so that those seed beads don't slide up, because they will. They're tiny. And I saw someone say that you needed to leave a little bit of room when you're making your loop so that your spider legs can bend, because they said that they won't bend if you don't leave any room for the beads to move around on here. I've found that not to be quite so true. These beads are so small, they bend just fine without leaving room, so I wouldn't worry about that. Okay, I'm going to turn the camera off, and then I will come back when I'm ready to do the last leg and do that with you on camera. So you just want to continue doing that to each leg. Okay, so just continue that sequence onto each leg, and I'll be right back and to finish off the spider, because I obviously can't do it in a timely manner. So, okay. Okay guys, I'm back to finish the last leg. I did legs 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and 7. So, okay. Usually when I'm able to have my hands close to me, I can do a leg a minute, less than a minute. But two seed, one bugle, it's pathetic. I'm sorry guys. I keep saying I'm sorry, but hands just don't work very well. Two seed, one bugle. Two seed, one bugle. Let's see, where am I at here? Two seed, And the knee bead. Get back here. Why? Why are you doing this to me? Okay. Oh my goodness. Let's work today. Come on, fingers. Oh my goodness, I got that seed bead on. Okay. 2 seed. 1 bugle. Whoop. Oh. Concentration. Sticking a single bead on a wire. Yes, I did it. And a bugle. Yep, left hand's no good. Okay. I don't know where that just went. Two seed. 1 bugle. Two seed. That would be the end of the sequence. Pull it tight to the body. Cut off the excess, leaving approximately, oh, come on, -1/4 inch. Take your round nose, bend it once to a 90°, grab it again, loop it around. And I'm gonna have to bring it towards myself again so I can actually do this. That was one thing I can't do on camera. Okay, so there's the 8 legs, and if you've actually looked at the undercarriage of a spider, this center part actually looks very spiderish. So, okay, where's my 2 front legs? Which side are you on? Huh. Okay, usually on a spider, they've got 2 legs reaching in front of them, and 2 legs curving behind them to cling onto their silk, and then their 4 center legs are usually bent a little bit. That, and then you can attach whatever you want to the bottom. If you don't care if it's invisible-ish, you can attach a ribbon, but if you want it to be more invisible-ish, like a spider's web, You could try fishing line, you could try invisible thread, embroidery floss would probably blend in pretty well. But yeah, just put on whatever you want. And these beads came from Leslie, by the way. So thank you for watching my train wreck of a tutorial. I know it wasn't the best. I don't know what to say. I think I'm going to put my spider making supplies away for now because I have to do my 2 cards of the week. But hopefully I'll get back to making spiders soon. I have this bead. It's a metallic blue and silver that I wanted to make a spider for Bonnie out of. And then these are my mother's beads. She's like, help yourself to what you want. I was like, okay. I found 1 strand of Jesse James beads that I wanted only for this bead. It's like a bead covered in bugle beads. I want to make a spider out of that. And then she had these faceted glass beads. I'll probably make a few spiders out of those. Okay. That's the tutorial. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions, let me know. I know I'm a complete mess during tutorials. That's just how I roll. So, yeah. I'll be back with my tarantula tutorial very shortly. Just kidding. I don't know how to do a tarantula yet, but I will figure it out. Because I know everybody is a spider lover. Alright, bye guys.